Welcome back, North Dakota, Peace Garden State. Hope all is well. This is the 701 Sound Off, the official podcast of the North Dakota Army National Guard Recruiting and Retention Battalion. I am your host, Sergeant Zachary Obergewich, and boy, do we have a star-studded guest here for you. I am joined with Sergeant First Class Andrew Tanata. Sergeant Tanata, how you doing today?
Good. Thanks for having me.
You bet. You know, this is a remote shoot. We're joined in your less than humble abode. Yeah. What do you think about the new digs here?
It's pretty nice. It's a nice opportunity. Nice new location. Lots of space. Lots of room for activities, one would say.
Yeah. Shout out to
Step Brothers.
Right. Yeah. The storefront is kind of like the lifeline between just your normal civilian and the journey into our incredible organization.
Yeah.
So yeah, we see the pull-up bar. We got a whole Humvee sitting behind us. So yeah, we're not a little more depth than the bunker and a lot more going on here. So I am here. We're in Jamestown, by the way. Sergeant Tanata, if you want to go into who you are and what you do and who you do it for, and then we'll kick it off.
Yeah. Sergeant Tanata, been in the North Dakota Army National Guard. This July will be my 17th year I've been in the Guard. Been a production recruiter here for the last 8 years out of the Jamestown area. So I've had a couple different office locations. So hopefully this is the last one for quite a while. It's been a pretty unique opportunity that we've had to do what I've been able to do over the years. You know, I was a 17-year-old that didn't really know what I was doing or where I was going to go or any direction like that. All I knew was like, my family farm. So I'll probably end up doing something on the farm and maybe go to trade school here for a little bit. And, actually the first time I saw somebody in uniform, they came to my school and it was for the ASVAB. And so they didn't really tell us what it was. And like, there's a guy in uniform here. What's happening today? And, so they're like, we'll take this test. It's for the military. And I was like, well, no, I'm really joining the military. So I filled in some bubbles and went and took a nap in the gym. And then a couple weeks later, I got some phone calls. And like, have you ever thought about serving your country and this and that? And I was like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
I had a big respect for people in the military, this and that, but didn't think it was for me. And I didn't have a big aha moment. I didn't see like the flag waving or a bald eagle flew across the sky. And I was just like, I need to do this. But I just knew I always enjoyed helping people out. I always wanted to do something more outside the box than some of my peers. So I went in, I talked to a couple different branches, and then ultimately it came into the Army National Guard, actually like the office that I was working in, my first office when I started recruiting. And tell me about the benefits. And the biggest thing for me was like the flexibility of life. And I was like, yeah, I'll try this out for a few years. And next thing you know, you blink and you wake up and you've been in the organization for 17 years. And I've had the opportunity to travel all over the U.S. and do all kinds of cool training, meet all kinds of unique individuals, and just taking just that wealth of knowledge and just the opportunities have been astounding.
Heck yeah. Yeah. The mantra of live here, serve here is as cliche as it sounds. It's absolutely true. So Sergeant Tanata, what was your initial MOS?
So I came in for my military occupation. I came in as it transitioned over. It was a 63 Bravo light wheel mechanic. Then they turned over to the big super MOSs. So
sure.
91 Bravo, all wheel mechanic. Then I was within the same unit, the local 817th Engineer Sapper Company out of Jamestown here. I was a 91 hotel, so track vehicle mechanic. Did that, then picked up my 5, so I was promoted to sergeant, and I was the unit's recovery NCO for quite some time before I got the opportunity to come over into recruiting and kind of start telling people my story. So yeah, it's so mainly mechanic, diesel mechanics. That was kind of my passion, still is my passion, working on stuff. And I was going to use that as my kind of my ploy going over into helping out on the farm. There's only so much Farmer Steve could teach me,
Right.
So wanted to pick some more stuff up. And I was ultimately going to go to Wahpeton, but then all of my experience and training that I learned from military school, I came back, and while I was looking at going to college, I applied for a couple jobs, and they all hired me on the spot. So instead of me going to school for 2 years, I got 6 months of training, and I got to work for a local diesel truck company here in Jamestown. I worked for John Deere for several years out of Valley City. So it was just opened up so many different pathways. I would have had to go to college for 2 years and apprentice and do all these things. And just because I took a leap of faith, did something a little uncomfortable, it opened up all these careers at 18 that I never thought I'd be able to jump into right away.
Isn't it kind of crazy how every day you're building your resume, and it's not to be really taken for granted, and maybe the kids don't quite realize how these are the most pivotal years of their young adult lives. And you came from the farm, and then your advanced individual training to reinforce those mechanic skills. And then like you basically marketed yourself out of the need to go to college. You still could have gone to college, but you were getting hired on the spot. So
I mean, my life plans were never really to go to college or never to join the military. And now I've been in the military for 17 years and I'm a junior at the University of Jamestown here.
Oh, you are?
Yeah,
oh, okay. I didn't know that about you.
So, things change, plans change, and even like that building a resume, when I go visit with, a lot of the local schools or the university here, that's some big stuff I talk about is you're always building your resume.
Yeah.
Always building your resume, whether you realize it or not. Like everything you're doing academically, athletically, while you're in school, any part-time job, anything you do, like you realize you think you're just doing something, but you realize like you have peers that are doing absolutely nothing. You have peers that are not having part-time jobs, not in sports, not trying in school academically. And so all those little things that require any amount of effort from you are just setting you so far ahead of your peers.
Sure.
So that's probably a big thing that I touch on when I go visit with, especially high school students from the areas. Everything you do has a meaning and a purpose behind it.
It does, yeah. Well, right before your introduction, I made mention to you, we're in Jamestown here for the Class B state girls
basketball.
Yeah. And we're excited for that. Let me tell you what, I don't know who like the clear favorite is this year. I haven't been.
The standings are a little bit different this year. So usually Litchfield, Marion, like LMM, usually they're pretty spicy, like up on top. So, I mean, they always put on a good show. So, I mean, maybe I'm more partial to them because I'm closer to that school than some of the other ones. But no, it should be a pretty good event. It was a lot of fun last year. The event center at the Civic Center, it maybe doesn't have as many people there as like a different arena, but because the seats are so close to the floor, it's just so loud. And it's just electric in there always.
I am super excited because if I've been there, it hasn't been since high school when I came to Jamestown to play the Jays.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm excited to see all the fans rocking and rolling. So that brings me into this quick little bit here before we get into the meat and potatoes of the show. Would you say soldiers are professionals?
Yeah. They're held to a different standard. Yeah.
Would you say soldiers, or it would behoove you as a soldier to be athletic?
I think it helps. I mean, we don't want to get too in depth on it here, but I think it helps. I mean, it definitely. I wrestled and played football in high school and dabbled in track for a little bit, and I definitely realized like when I got the training, it helped me out a lot. But the other thing too is like it's basic training for a reason. So I've seen a lot of people find a lot of success that were never in any type of athletics whatsoever, and everybody has this misconception: you have to be the stud athlete to join the military. And you don't. You don't have to have. Does it help? You bet it does.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a difference because like I ran a lot. That was my biggest thing. I watched all the movies and stuff, and I was like, I don't want to go to basic training and fail or anything like that. So I was just running and always running, and I got the training. And my reward for being more prepared was I got to run in ability group A.
Oh, nice.
And then they have different ability groups for running and stuff. And then we had individuals that, maybe weren't quite as athletic and they just ran in a different ability group, So we still all graduated just the same. We still got the same, we still all became United States soldiers and still got to do the things. But it definitely did help my time at basic training being a little bit more in shape.
So you said soldiers are professionals.
Yes.
And there's a level of athletic prowess that helps soldiers or they gain.
They will, yep.
So would you say soldiers are professional athletes?
Well, outside of basic training, absolutely. That time frame after they get out of training, like, but it's a good conversation to have. So I'll put that on my Instagram.
We are paid to be
in shape.
And
you're not wrong. You're not wrong. We are paid to work out. So Yeah, no, I'm gonna put that in my my bio.
Yeah. From this day forward, I'm dubbing thy title of professional athlete.
Yeah,
I think it's going to go in the LinkedIn profile.
I would. It's a good conversation starter.
God dang, you were talking about a build or run group A, and that reminds me how much I hate formation runs.
Yeah.
Oh, because I am a long-legged individual.
Yeah, so you like to step it out, but then when you're doing uniformity,
Yeah,
it
you're just like the turkey trot.
just beats your calves.
I
up.
could walk faster than most of the formation runs, and it's
Yeah.
like, dude, just let us get like your road guard.
Yeah.
Get us like a road closed.
Give us like our endpoint.
A very clear endpoint that a private couldn't mess up. And you just let us go.
Yeah.
Because you're sitting there just trotting, and the fronts of my calves are just burning. And I don't know about the shoes they gave you when you went through basic training.
Yeah.
But when I got to Fort Leonard Wood, they gave me these SAS, which I guess was San Antonio Shoe Company.
Okay.
Things are garbage.
Oh, I had some like bougie like Sauconys that I had from like when I ran tracks. Like I had my own stuff there. But the best and worst part of Ability Group A was it was always the fastest running.
Yeah.
But it was an all out run. So like I didn't have to really do so much formation running. Like we'd initially start formation and then they just said go.
Yeah.
And then we'd have a stud drill sergeant that would just like be not a miles, but so far ahead of us, and we'd be trying to catch him. So then like we break formation and we're just like always running.
Yeah. Well, okay, so we didn't have the shark attack.
Yeah.
We had like the first 100 meters, I think they call it, or something like that.
When you get off the bus.
We didn't have that.
You didn't even have that?
No, because we had COVID and we had to stay and quarantine at our company.
Okay.
So we went from like 3 drill sergeants overnight to all 12, all in like one night. And I told this story in our first episode. So if you want to hear it in the long form, go and check it out. But our first sergeant said, "Okay, starting Monday is red phase." Mm-hmm. Well, he lied to us. The next day, Saturday, is when red phase started. And they came in, they whipped the garbage can against the wall. They all had the cool combat Carl sunglasses on. Anyways, we went out to the PT field and we basically did a culminating ACFT event with our drill sergeants. And this was our first time meeting them.
Okay.
So instead of them screaming at us, they were working with us to beat the other platoons. And dude, I watched this guy rep out like 23 leg tucks, and this drill sergeant was like a mythical creature like the Lorax. I'd never seen anything like it.
He speaks for the trees.
He did. Shout out to Drill Sergeant Marshall. Maybe you'll give this a listen, but I watched that man pump out 23 leg tucks, and he said he was battling like the flu, and I was like, oh dang. So anyways, the long story is the transformation from like just coming off a Fort Couch to becoming a soldier is incredible.
It's when I went to training in 2009, I don't think maybe looking back, maybe I blocked out some of that stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't think we really even had a shark attack then too. I remember we got dropped off and we got 2 basic training, and then the drill sergeant gets on the bus. He's like, "Get off my bus."
Yep.
And we're all just like shuffling and grabbing our bags and getting off the bus. And I got off the bus and I think I tripped over the curb a little bit, and I ran right into a female drill sergeant and knocked her over.
No.
She got up and I'm just standing there. I'm like, oh, yeah. And she's like, "That's what I'll tell you. You want to start basic training? Yeah. You want to start basic training by running into a drill sergeant?" I was like, "No, drill sergeant, I can go get over to the parade field, And then we just started drinking water. I mean, if I look back on basic training, it's just I just remember drinking a lot of water, to be honest. Probably like the most things that stuck out for me.
By golly, you're hydrated. That's for sure. The funniest place you're not allowed to laugh at is what I always tell my friends.
It's just so many. If you talk to anybody, I think a drill sergeant, I mean, for their Instagram bio, like they are paid comedians. Like, like the stuff they come up is like the funniest things, and you can't laugh. You just have to be in the moment. So we had to wear, I don't know if they still do it, but we had to wear iPro or safety glasses everywhere we went. And I remember one day, we were getting back to the barracks and we were kind of hanging out. It was like right after training day. We were just released to go shower, change, and get ready for another formation. And a drill sergeant came around the corner, and there's a couple of my battle buddies had their iPro on top of their heads.
Oh.
And they're like, "Oh, okay, we're just hanging out at the beach today, right? So we're going to go to the beach." So we didn't have a beach. I mean, I was in South Carolina, but we weren't near that beach. We had a rubber pit. They
Yeah.
called that the beach. So we all had to go in and grab on in our wall locker. We had our display, which has like all of your uniforms, all of your personal effects, and then you have to have your towels a certain way, right? So we had to all go in there. We put our PTs on, and then we had to put our towels over our shoulders, and then put our iPro on top of our head, and then they made us do some like weird march to the rubber pit, and then like, all right, privates, we're at the beach now. So then we had to do like a bunch of weird swimming stuff.
Yeah.
Like just so many story after story of just like little unique things. And while you're in the moment, you're like, oh no, like just doing the thing. And then you look back and like, that was hilarious.
And creative, I must say.
Yeah.
And yeah, the creativity of, I guess, what do they call that? Corrective action, whatever.
Yeah.
It's its own world. You're going to be safe. You're going to come out of it donning the greatest title that I've ever earned in my life. You know, I'm a son, a brother, all these things, but being able to call myself a soldier is the most incredible thing I've done in my life.
Yeah. I mean, and just that transition there that you see from civilian to soldier, you know, it's kind of that shock factor, you know. So I was unique. I joined right before my senior year. And so I was able to be with our RSP program, which I'm sure we've talked about you know, quite a bit. So I did RSP for a year while I was, you know, still in high school, doing prom in high school, or, you know, sports and helping on the farm and this and that. And that transition, you know, like when you get the basic training, you have that aha moment, like, oh man, like this, I'm really doing this thing. Like I had been wearing a uniform and doing training for a year. But when you get down there, it's like, it really hits you. Like, oh man, I just wanted a t-shirt and a lanyard. Like what happened? And then you get through it and you just have such a, I mean, we have a lot of confident individuals that come in here or think they're confident, but just what it does for you mentally, like it helps you grow mentally. I have a saying that I say to a lot of students when I go into the school, because they're like, well, give me some advice. Like, what's some life advice? And I'm like, it gets worse before it gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, what?
Like, what?
I was like it gets worse before it gets worse. But either you are going to choose to get better, or you'll be forced to get better.
Right.
Right? Because like nothing ever gets easier. And the military was a mixture of choosing and being forced to be better. And then when I came back, I was just able to, you know, lock it in. I was able to get so much more focused on my personal goals, what I want to do with my life, and how I even viewed myself. Because, you know, when you're in high school, you have all these influences. You have mom, dad, your friends, and you should do this and you should do that. But then when you're at basic training, it's not just you. You have your battle buddies and everybody around you, but you really get to do some self-reflection of like, who am I and what I really want to do with my life? And then you can come back and just make it happen because you got some money in the bank. You got some college credits from training that you completed. You're in really good shape. Your confidence is at all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just such a unique and interesting change. And I love seeing that with all of my soldiers, from when they walk into the storefront and we have that first conversation of like, you know, what do you want to do with your life and how can the guard work with that, to when they come back and just seeing the, like, you know, times they'll come in, they'll be kind of slouched and this and that. And then when they come back from training, I mean, you're chest up, they're proud, you know, they just accomplished something that it's not even 1% of the people anymore. It's like 0.5% of the nation has the ability to or chooses to serve in the armed services. So they're part of a very small group of individuals that have accomplished that. And they just have a lot of pride.
Amen to that. Yeah, the intangibles and the ability to kind of suffer in silence, and just as a soldier and as a man or as a adult navigating in America, I mean, life's going to throw you wrenches, and like you said, it gets worse before it gets worse. And your ability to keep your chin up and those intangibles, you know, my generation, I'd like to think that we had those intangibles, but it doesn't really matter what generation. It's person to person, and guaranteed you're gonna earn those intangibles and those life skills, those coping mechanisms. We preach resiliency all the time. You know, oh god dang, there was a Dodge iceberg, but I dodged it. Don't worry. But okay, we're coming on time critical here. We're gonna hit you with a amazing ad read here, and then we're gonna get into the second half of the show, and then we'll get you on your way. You had an appointment to get a perm?
Yeah. I'm trying a new hairstyle. I've had the same haircut for like 17 years. It's time for something new. So get a little flow.
Oh gosh, that was dumb. Okay, here we go. Breaking news. ND 1000 has been amazing. And because of you, we have decided to make it even better. As of December 1st, it is now ND 2000. This program will run until May 31st or until funds are exhausted. This leads to enlistment bonus program is available to current and qualified former members of the North Dakota Army National Guard. Leads must be submitted through the ND National Guard app. For terms and conditions and links to the app, visit ndarmyguard.com/ND2000. Boom. Sergeant Tanata, how would you spend $2,000?
I got kids, so like I got project trucks, I got all kinds of things. I like to go shoot and move and communicate and all that good stuff.
Heck
But
yeah.
probably something for my kids. Like it's always something for them in between birthdays and holidays and all that and little trips. I'm big on just unique things with that, like experience and stuff. So yeah, I don't know. I'm sure I'd find something.
It would go quick.
It'd go quick when you got kids. It goes $2,000. It's just like $20.
Yeah. It does seem like $20 is the new $100.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
Some would say.
Maybe for a different podcast we could get into that. Anywho's, okay. We were going to talk about, so in our battalion, there is, missions one must make and competitions amongst your peers. And one of the competitions is called Directors 54. Yep. Is that safe to say? I don't really know a whole heck of a lot about it. So
the simplest way is Recruiter of the Year.
Okay.
That sounds a lot better than D54.
Okay, so we've got the 2-time winner of said, I don't know if it's just a metrics that you're weighed on or if you have to go in front of a board or what.
Yeah.
Okay.
We
go ahead and break it down.
On that. Yeah. So, I've been very fortunate. I've been selected twice for the Directors 54 or the Recruiter of the Year for the state of North Dakota. Goes off of several different metrics, not just everybody who's joined. It's not just solely based off that number. There's a formal board that you sit with that has like all the states, our sergeant major, and all the production master sergeants and first sergeants that we have across the state. And they ask you like lots of questions like soldiering tasks, everything from our RSP program to recruiting questions, prior service, retention, and then all the other metrics they take into account is, not just how many people that have enlisted, but how, your success of how many have gone to training. Then they factor in a lot of the other stuff that you do, like community involvement, schools involvement, any professional development you're doing for yourself, like me
going to
college, or different things like that. So it's a pretty big metric. Back in the day, it used to be like, well, whoever got the most people to join, that was the metric. And now it's a lot more in depth on, and I actually appreciate this one a lot more because I think it gives everybody a fair shake. So it doesn't matter how many people you put in, but it's all those other little things that you do for your community and for your schools outside of just coming in and saying, "Hey, join my team."
Right,
doing the thing.
Yeah, come and sell my Tupperware.
Yeah.
So reminds me or makes me think about what it means to be a holistic soldier.
Yeah.
What does it mean to be like a holistic soldier in your opinion?
I'm just really big on like servant leadership. That's a big thing for me. I think if you treat people right and take care of them, they'll take care of you. That's just kind of been a big thing for me. Like I've just always and maybe the big bosses don't like to hear it, but like I'll straight up tell people like I don't care if you join the military or not. But what I do care about is like you finding whatever success means to you. I'll start with that when I go to a lot of my schools. Like who in here wants to be successful? Everybody wants to be successful.
Yep.
Everybody, but it's just a matter of what success looks like to you. So I'm just really big on believe it or not, like just shut up and listen. Like, when I visit with individuals about the military, it's like, well, let's say you can't join the military. What do you want to do with your life? Because like this is part-time. This is, you might do 3 years, 6 years, or 36 years. At some point, your military career is going to come to an end. So what do you want to do with your life, and how can the Guard positively impact that for you? So But, getting back to like what you were asking initially is just generally caring,
Mm.
just actually caring, because some people just, they don't know what they're doing, and this might be it, or this might not be it, but it's just practicing empathy, listening, and staying with them through the whole process.
And we're going to get onto that process next year. And you made mention to caring and empathy.
Yeah.
And I think that's a misconception about not only our organization, but military as a whole is you're just a number and your feelings don't matter.
Yeah.
I think that's the farthest from the truth.
Oh
I mean, I
no.
don't mean to
Yeah.
put like a cheesy, corny twist on it, but we all might wear the same exact thing every day and look a certain way. Dress right dress is what we like to say. But yeah, there we go.
Better.
There we go.
No, you're absolutely right. Yep, we have a standard that we need to uphold. We have a significant amount of trust that's put on us as soldiers. But I had a friend tell me the other day, we're all living life for the first time.
Yeah. Doggone it. That's true.
We're all human. We all have errors. We all have things. We're all growing. We're all learning. And no, I think we have. I've just never ran into like where someone just didn't like take the minute to like care and listen. I've been very, very lucky to have some really good leaders and peers in this organization and outside of North Dakota even.
Mm-hmm.
And no, like I've been very fortunate to have like some really great people and teammates and mentorship over the years to, and as humbly as I can put it, it's like I wouldn't be recruiter of the year if it wasn't for all of these people.
Yep.
It's not, I'm not up here like I'm the best there ever was. Because I'm not. I can't do what I do without the support of my community, the trust of the schools, the mentorship and leadership I've had, the military entrance processing station, the leadership and mentorship that we get from there, like even with the recruiting process. I mean, there's so many people that get involved for one person to join our organization. So yeah, it's nice to get an award and get recognized at the end of the day, but it's not me. Like it's really not, I can't do what I do without the support of so many people.
Alone, you will go fast. Together, you will go far.
That's deep.
Yeah.
Is that a fortune cookie?
No.
Snapple?
That's some what you would call Obi Trice wisdom. So I'm going to pause this here.
It takes determination, focus, doing the little things right. That's how you start building a bridge to your future. And with part-time service, the North Dakota Army National Guard is ready to give you the skills to take on challenges and succeed. You'll learn teamwork, leadership, and earn benefits to help you grow both in and out of uniform, all while serving close to home in your community. See how far your future can go.
Okay. We're back.
We're back.
Like we never left.
Yeah.
So
same seats.
Yeah, talking process. Real quick in the 6 minutes we got left here. What's the long short of from interest to our organization to getting on that silver jet to basic training?
Man, I'm big on baby steps.
Okay.
I say that a lot, but I really mean it. So now the process is a little bit different for enlistment. Like when I first got in, or when my first few years in recruiting, you'd come to my office and you'd say, I want to go be a combat engineer. And I'd go on my list, like, yeah, we got a spot in Jamestown to be a combat engineer. You can go down next week. And they'd go down next week and enlist. The fastest I ever had somebody join is they came in on a Friday and they enlisted on the very next Friday.
Wow.
And they'd message me through social media. They're on Instagram. They're like, hey, you came to our school. You've done some stuff. Like, I want to go into school to be criminal justice. And I'd like to be a military police officer. Okay. We made it happen. So a lot of baby steps. So first thing, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, our first initial interview obviously is like, hey, I'm considering it. A lot of people have a misconception when you meet with a recruiter, like you have to join or you have to do something. Like you don't have to do anything. It's just come have a conversation. All we're having is a conversation like we're having right now. So they'll come in. Like I said, I don't even talk military for the first piece of it because I'm like, well, I want to find out who you are as a person. What are some of your core beliefs? What are some things you want to do for yourself in life? Where you want to get? And then once I have that information, then we can figure out, okay, what potential routes, like how can the guard help you? It's not how you work with the guard. It's how the guard will work with you, especially with our high school students.
Sure.
You know? They don't realize, with the National Guard, especially here in North Dakota, we have so much flexibility. Like, you don't have to stop playing sports. You don't have to quit your part-time job. You don't have to miss out on prom. You don't have to miss out on family vacations. Like, you can still join and serve very part-time and complement that resume we're talking about.
Boom.
So, yeah, they come in, figure out, so what kind of an idea they have for their future plans, how the guard can work with that. Once we kind of get like, yep, I think I'd be interested in finding out what we do what's called a pre-screen.
Okay.
So we meet with them. We talk about some general stuff, like make sure they're, academically on track for graduation. If they've taken our military or our ASVAB, which is like the military ACT, check that, make sure they're morally good. And then we go over some basic medical questions. And then from there, we submit that pre-screen. They've been coming back pretty quick. Like I've seen some come back the same day that I've submitted them, but usually we do that pre-screen. So within a week, usually they come back and say, hey, we're good to do the thing, or we're not, so we're big on baby steps. So even us setting that pre-screen, that's not committing anybody to actually joining, signing a contract, or picking a job. Just let's see if you're even eligible to try to join the military. Everything comes back and they're good to go. And then we figure out, what military job they'd like to do, where they'd like to be in the state of North Dakota, depending on like if they're going to college and this and that. We're very flexible. I can keep saying that word, flexible, for whatever their future plans are. And as long as we can make the, get whatever career they want to come in as long as it aligns with their plans for school, college, or life after high school, then we just set a date and go do the thing.
Sick.
So it's a lot of baby steps, but I already did that before. I feel like I took that time, even before the process got a little bit longer, to sit down, have an understanding, like, hey, what do you want to do with your life? Like, let's say you can't join the military. What do you want to do? Okay. And then we figure out like, hey, what that looks like, and then what it looks like with the guard helping them, giving that jump start in life.
Well, thank you for providing insight on what it takes to raise the right hand. And thanks for coming on the show. Anything else you'd like to plug to the people out there?
No, I mean, if you are considering the military, like, just have the conversation. Like, that's probably the biggest thing. Just ask the question, because then you're going to spend the rest of your life being, well, I almost, or maybe I could have, or a recruiter messaged me, but I never got back to him. Like, just have the conversation. What's it going to take? Like 5-10 minutes out of your day. And then you find out like, oh, maybe this is something I could do, or nope, absolutely doesn't work with my plans, or it's not something I see myself doing. So don't be afraid of being uncomfortable, and be willing just to have that simple conversation, because you just don't know like where it's going to take you. Because I almost didn't do this. If I go back in time, I'd kick little me so hard in the chest, because
amen, brother.
Because of that, I've had the opportunity to travel all over the United States. I've met so many people. I've helped 96 people join our organization. Outside of those that have joined, hundreds of other people I've positively impacted.
Sure.
It's assisting, it's helped me take care of my family. It's assisted, with just living where I live and doing what I do, going to college. It's just been such a positive impact on my life. I mean, it wasn't a big deal. So I graduated from Pingree, North Dakota, from all my Class B years out there. So a very small school, right? They had their 100-year anniversary a couple years ago, and I got asked to be a speaker at that event. How crazy is that? And I was just like, I'm just a dude. Like, I have classmates that are doctors.
Yeah.
Like, sure, you want me, but because of this, I've had the opportunity to, like, I've been fortunate with, being named the Recruiter of the Year twice, runner up a few times. But outside of like the accolades and the awards, just like the ability to do what I do in my, like we say, live here, serve here.
Yeah.
Like, that's me.
This man is living life.
Like, I was born in Jamestown. I joined in Jamestown. My unit was in Jamestown, and I've worked in Jamestown. So my whole military career has been right in my hometown. That's my big reason, like, I continue to serve, is everybody like wants to say, like, I want to serve America, but I like closer to home. Like, I like taking care of North Dakota. I like taking care of the communities that I grew up in and that my family's growing up in. So take that chance.
Yeah.
Like, that's all I gotta say is, like, look for that opportunity, because you have no idea. You have no idea. Like, you're gonna just blink and years go by.
You don't know what you want until you know what you can have. The perfect 50-meter target, the North Dakota Army National Guard. Get to know more about our organization at ndarmyguard.com.
Yep.
I was told to say smash the subscribe button. And yeah, once again, Sergeant Tanata, I really appreciate you coming on, and I hope to have you on soon to maybe add an hour to this timetable. But I once again really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Until next time, thank you for listening to the 701 Sound Off. Peace.
Peace.